Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics by BelleAmant. Read by Oakshadow5. Chapter 19. New Guardians. When Hisashi told Shota he wanted to have kids one day, this isn't quite what he meant. It wasn't a wish that needed to be fulfilled only a month after their conversation. Both of them had decided that they could wait a few years, see where life took them before taking on a child. They were busy, both of them working multiple jobs as both heroes and teachers, and Hisashi even had his radio station to work on too. That's where they decided to wait, because it wasn't fair to a kid to put them onto such a busy time. Admittedly, Hisashi wasn't sure when their life would be any less busy, but he had hoped that the future would be at least a little bit less cramped. So, when Principal Nezu called for a random meeting after school on what seemed to be a normal Wednesday, Hisashi didn't expect to be told that he might be raising 2 kids from there on out. "I'm sure you're all wondering why I called for this meeting," Nezu started, hands clasped politely on the table. A few of Hisashi's co-workers nodded, and he found himself doing the same. "Excellent! Well, I have no doubts that you've all heard of the Vigilante duo by now. Am I correct in this assumption?" "The Vigilante duo?" Nemori asked. "What about them? Ooh, has someone gotten us a lead?" "Even better!" Nezu cheered. "Just last night, Aizawa managed to capture them and bring them into custody." Hisashi's head snapped over as he whipped around to look at his husband, who looked even more exhausted than usual. "Sho!" Hisashi cried out. "You didn't even tell me? This is big! Congrats!" "I've been stuck in interrogations and meetings this whole time," Shota complained, snapping further into himself. "It's a mess." "If the duo is caught, then why are we discussing them?" 13 asked, her voice filled with confusion. "I'm so glad you asked, 13, Nezu replied, then pulled out a folder. "You see, we found something out when Aizawa brought them in." Quickly, the dog-bear-mouse creature pulled out 2 photos and held them up. "This is what they look like right now," Nezu explained. "They're both 15 years old." "What?" Yagi spluttered, coughing out blood. "But that would mean—" "Yep, 5 years of vigilantism are under these boys' belts. They started when they were 10 years old." Hisashi could have choked on the silence, for once not able to break it. Shota sighed, eyes resting on the table. "The boys admitted that they became vigilantes out of a desire to help others. They were just too impatient to wait until they could get the proper licensing. Because of this, and the fact that the only real crime that they committed was minor acts of theft against those that they apprehended, Nezu has offered them an alternate option to prison time." "We're going to turn those boys into some of the best heroes UA has to offer," Nezu finished. "It'll be like a reformation program of sorts. The young men, Midoriya and Shinzo, will be put into the hero course as first years when the semester begins. Along with that, however, there'll be a need of a guardian from the school." "Wait, what?" Snape asked, head cocked to the side. "Why in tarnation do they need a guardian?" "They live on their own," Shota muttered. "Have been for a couple years, they said. It's the whole reason they stole in the first place." "Those poor boys," Nemori said with a frown. "So, who's going to become the guardian?" "I was assuming that Aizawa and Yamada would be up to the task," Nezu admitted, then turned to grin at Hisashi. "I've heard that you two wanted kids, do you not?" "Well, yeah, but—" "Perfect! Then you won't mind becoming the legal guardians, right?" "Hey, wait!" "Give us a moment to talk about this, Nezu," Shota said, already standing and pulling Hisashi out of the room before he could process the sudden movements. The door shut behind them, leaving the men alone in the empty halls. Shota let out a groan, slumping against the walls. "I need at least 3 coffees by now," his husband grumbled, and Hisashi laughed. "You always need 3 coffees, Sho," Hisashi said, and Shota just huffed. "Fine, make it 6. "Got it." The halls went silent again, but this time Hisashi broke it. "So, kids?" "Yeah, they're... Fuck, Hisashi. They're teenagers. They should be focused on dating and having fun, not risking their lives and running from the law." I know, Hisashi agreed, joining his husband who had sunk to the floor. "I've run into them a few times. They're good at what they do. They shouldn't be good at it already." "Vigil is quirkless," Shota said, and Hisashi blinked. "Vigil is doing all of this when he's a kid, and he doesn't even have a quirk to rely on if things get bad. Ante has a brainwashing quirk. It's why he always waited until he was hit to jump into a fight. He had to get self-defense laws on his side. They're able to find loopholes around so many things. If it wasn't for the theft, I think they could have gotten away with it all scot-free. Shota rubbed at his face, a frown tagging on his lips. God, there's gotta be more that can be done for them. Well, that's exactly what we're doing, isn't it? Hisashi asked. I mean, they're coming here to learn how to be proper heroes, the charges are getting dropped. Hell, Natsu's even making sure they get a family. He's making sure they get guardians. Shota cut him off, but Hisashi didn't feel upset. He wants them to be watched over. He doesn't care about family and all of that. Well, we do, Hisashi pointed out, and Shota looked up, locking eyes with him. We did say we wanted kids. I know we planned to wait, so that we'd have more time, but these kids would probably be happy with any time, and they'll be our students, so we see them more than we'd see a younger kid, and they need a family show. Shota's lips quirked up, a soft smile growing on his face. I figured you'd say that, he admitted. You're a soft, Hisashi. And you're too, Sho, Hisashi retorted. You just like to hide it. Yeah. You're sure about this? This isn't a decision you can back out on. Shota warned, and Hisashi just smiled. I'm sure. Come on, let's go become parents. And now, only 2 days later, Shota is bringing the kids, their kids, home. Hisashi looks around their home. It's small, cozy. There's only 2 bedrooms, one for Hisashi and Shota, one that used to be for guests, but Shota promised that the boys wouldn't mind sharing the room. They said that they've always slept in the same room. Shota reassured Hisashi, and that was enough for the bond. Hisashi paces around the kitchen, finishing up lunch as he hums a tune to himself. Shota had just texted him a few minutes before, saying that they were nearly there. They took less time than Shota had expected, but apparently, the boys didn't have much to pack. That saddened Hisashi, but he knows he can always change that in the future. The door opens just as Hisashi pulls out some plates. We're home, Shota calls out, and Hisashi races out to meet his new sons. He's not sure how long it'll take for him to stop feeling giddy about that fact. The boys blink up at him curiously, eyes searching him. Midoriya shuffles in place, shifting his weight from one foot to the other as he holds a box close to his chest. Chunzo just stares blankly at Hisashi, as if waiting for something. Maybe he's waiting for a greeting? Hisashi smiles at them, letting his hands clap together. Welcome to our home, boys! He cheers, then beckons them to follow. I made some lunch. It's nothing exciting, but I figured you'd all be hungry. You can either sit on your stuff here and eat, or I can show you to your room so you can drop your stuff in there, and then we can come back for the food. What do you guys want to do? Midoriya blinks, glancing to Shinzo, who glances back at the same time. They stare at each other for a second before Midoriya asks. Maybe see our room first? I'd rather set this down there, so it's not in the way. Of course, little listener. Just follow me. Hisashi beckons for them to follow, and they do. He quickly leads them to the room, pushing the door open. Sho said that you guys shared a room back at your place, so I figured you wouldn't mind doing the same here. It's perfect, Midoriya says softly, and Hisashi smiles. Glad to hear it. I'll give you boys a few moments to look around. Then he slips out, giving them a moment of peace. He hopes that they like it. Izuku watches as Present Mike retreats back down the stairs before turning to look at Hitoshi. Eraserhead and Present Mike? Izuku murmurs. Who would have thought? A tired one and a loud one, Hitoshi returns, setting his bag on the floor. Sounds like our dynamic, don't you think? True, Izuku laughs, setting down his box. Come on, Toshi, let's go grab the other bags before Eraser locks the car on us. I said to call me Aizawa already, Eraser says as they walk out of the room, setting down a box by the door. And you can call Hisashi Yamada if you want. Thanks, Izuku says, knowing that he probably won't be doing that. From Hitoshi's nod behind him, he knows his friend doesn't plan to do that either. Bringing up the last of their stuff doesn't take long, and soon their room has boxes and bags scattered around the floor. Izuku sighs, looking at the new room. It's about what he'd expect, after being told it was a guest room. The bed is the same size as the old one, which is nice, and there's a dresser on the opposite wall and a closet to hang clothes in. Other than that, there's a small desk in the one corner, with a window right beside it. That's nice, Izuku guesses. We'll probably want a table in here, or something. Hitoshi pipes up from his spot, sprawled out on the bed. Unless you plan on doing homework and all done there. Izuku grimaces. Sure, Eraser and Present Mike may be 2 of his favorite heroes, and Eraser may be Hitoshi's favorite hero of all time, but that doesn't change the fact that well, they're intruders that are probably not wanted here. It's probably for the best to stay out of the hero's ways, so that they're less of a problem. Luckily, the ex-vigilantes know a thing or two about remaining hidden. We can make a table or buy one soon, Izuku promises, right as President Mike calls them down for lunch. A chair too. Cool, Hitoshi says, and then they head back down to face their new guardians. And try not to fanboy, because, wow, these are still some of the coolest heroes ever, awkward tension or not. Hisashi always knew that parenthood wouldn't be a walk in the park. He also knew that adopting a kid meant that forming a bond would be even more difficult. He definitely knew that adopting a teenager who had spent most of their life only trusting one other person would mean that there'd be some trouble earning their trust. Hisashi never thought that he'd adopt two wanted vigilantes, especially not ones that he's tried to capture before. But here he is, facing the hardest difficulty yet, trying to get these boys to open up. He's a teacher. He's good with teenagers. He has a grumpy husband who doesn't know how to communicate, and he has had at least half a pot of coffee. He is the king of small talk. But Midoriya and Shinzo are giving him a run for his money by saying practically nothing. He can probably count their responses on his fingers, dang it. Shota isn't really helping, and if Hisashi didn't know any better, he'd assume Shota is amused. Of course he's amused. Shota is hiding a smile behind the coffee mug and Hisashi cannot be fooled. So, boys, Hisashi starts up again, when the silence feels too loud, and the eyes that up to meet his own in sync. What do you like to do for fun? Midoriya looks at him oddly, raising an eyebrow. Present Mike-san, we were vigilantes. You tried to capture us at least half a dozen times. His green eyes seem to be concerned. The question, did he forget, laying, unsaid, in his gaze. I know, Hisashi says with his go-getter smile. But that couldn't have been all you two did, yeah? We trained, Shinzo says. Trained? Hisashi repeats, and now Shinzo raises an eyebrow, matching Midoriya's expression easily. We worked out, Shinzo tries. We couldn't have gone 5 years before being captured if we didn't. Did you think that we were just running around blind, Present Mike-san? Midoriya asks, and Hisashi shakes his head frantically. No, you two were extraordinary. Not that I'm condoning your actions, they were borderline illegal and all, but that's not what I meant. Taking a breath, Hisashi ignores the snort that comes from his husband. Okay. Other than vigilante-related things, what did you two do? Oh, Midoriya lets out, and Hisashi lets out a sigh. That's simple, we did our schoolwork. Hisashi slumps. Schoolwork? Yeah, if we weren't training or out on patrol, we did our classwork. That's it? Hisashi asks, and the boys nod in tandem. How much time do you think there is in a day, Present Mike-san? Shinzo drawls out, and Hisashi frowns. You two never had time for fun, did you? That's not right. We're going to find you two some hobbies if it's the last thing you do, got it? The boys share a look, but then shrug in one fluid movement. Together, they say, Got it, Present Mike-san. Good? Oh, and you guys know you can stop calling me by my hero name, yeah? They refuse to stop, Shota says, the first thing he's said since thanking Hisashi for lunch. Eraserhead is right, Shinzo agrees, and Hisashi pouts. Fine, at least drop the honorific then. Of course, Present Mike. They agree, and with that, they stand up and leave the room, heading back up to the new bedroom. Hisashi looks to Shota with pleading eyes, and his husband merely laughs. Traitor. Izuku's and Hitoshi's first day with Aizawa and Hisashi. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't want to know what's going on in, Izuku's and Hitoshi's brain. Why are they so nice to us? What do they think we do? But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 19 of Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!